The gang's all here. The gang's all here. Hey, everybody.
Hey.
So happy. We're complete again.
Yes, we're complete. I feel like this is the perfect episode to be complete about.
Right. And to me, it was a perfect episode.
Yes, I love this episode. I mean, it wasn't my favorite, but I loved it.
We've all gathered here today to say R.I.P. to a real one, is what we've done.
God be good. Lord Peaceberry.
Lord Peaceberry. We hardly knew ye. I miss him already.
Yes. I kind of didn't like his death scene, though.
Do you know what it reminded me of? A little bit. The way people reacted to it, except for Harold Westerling. It was very Rick and Morty for me. Like, everyone was practically, someone just dies so grotesquely and unceremoniously, and everyone's just like, oh God, why? But then everybody just resumed. But the way that when Harold drew that sword on Kristen, the way that old Lannister moved out of the way reminded me a lot of Cersei. when the mountain threw Kyborn against the wall like a ragdoll, and she was just like,
that bitch made Jean is genetic.
Yeah, she's like, I'll see myself out. I'll say before we continue getting actually a little deeper into the episode, we do have a couple of super chats. Thank you guys already. You guys are so awesome. We have a super chat from Brandon Winslow. # Team Direwolf. Much love and respect as always, ladies. Curious to see how y'all felt about the Rainey's Allison bell ringing stare down at the end of the episode. LOL.
Oh, I have thoughts.
I have thoughts, but I feel like I want to get into it when we really get into it, because I feel like that will just...
Okay, to put it simply, and I will later elaborate on it, if I were to sum it up into one statement, I'd say, to put it simply, Rainey's was basically saying, leave me alone, don't fuck with me.
Yeah. I mean, very well put. I agree.
I'll say we have another super chat. Thank you, Mary. All my love to # Team Direwolf. Do you think it is fascinating that no one predicted that the beast under boards was actually Maylee's? What a twist.
Is it Maylee's though? Because
that
looked like rocks. That looked like rocks. That was the beast beneath some bricks.
I think it's fun to consider Maylee's a beast under the boards. And I tweeted as much, but I still I still think it's redacted spoiler.
Yeah, I think it could be both.
So
Yeah.
I actually think it's Rainey's and not Maylee's.
Really?
That she's the beast under the, because you know how like a lot of Targaryens, when they have dreams, they'll see like, oh, the dragon, like, oh, I had a dragon fell on you or something like that, but it's actually a person.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I say that, get into a little bit more in depth later, but the scene where Allison is breaking down the news to Helena, and she's like, your father, and she's like, but where the beast beneath the floorboards? Like, she cuts her off before she can even say it.
Right.
And figure Rainey's would be in the royal apartments, which would probably be underneath Helena. So maybe she's telling her mom, like, shh, before she hears you. And then Rainey's the one who pops up from the floor. She's the one that makes that big statement. That's why I think it might be her.
I maintain that I think there's a possibility, even though they haven't really hinted at it in the past couple episodes, I think there's a possibility that she's talking about the rats. Like, I think there's a possibility that Larys could be skin changing into a rat or the rats, #Willard. And because she said there's a beast under the floorboard, like very present tense.
He's Ben.
He's crazy.
Big Ben.
Well, figure, because Rainey's wasn't at that feast either. Rainey's wasn't at the feast either. And she was down below while Vaemon's body was getting prepared too. So that's why I'm thinking it might be Rainey's, but we'll talk about that a little bit more, I guess, as we go on.
See,
but we do have
I still maintain that it's redacted because that affects her disproportionately.
Yes.
And I think that's why she's feeling it and getting it so strongly. So
I like that. I think this would be I think now would be a good time to insert our spoiler policy. Just so you guys know, we do our best to keep book spoilers to the absolute minimum until the very end of our coverage of the episode. We usually give you a spoiler warning that just consists of us just saying spoilers, like for a good 10 seconds. So, be wary in the chat, because obviously we can't control what everybody says if you're trying to avoid spoilers, but we're going to do our part to try to limit them as best as possible. But we had another super chat from Barmandu. One thing about Rainey's, she's the baddest alive. She's mother.
She certainly is.
She is.
That was like the first watch, you're getting over the shock, not necessarily like bad shock, but you're kind of just like, what am I watching? By the second time, it is, I'm sorry, but it's funny. It was funny.
I just liked her in every scene she was in. She was just so awesome. I love
the
her.
way she was about to pop off on Allison, but we can get into that later.
Yeah.
When she was like, you're...
Oh, you muted yourself.
Oh, when she was like, you're smarter than I thought, I was like, yes, bitch. Go in.
She was reading her for filth.
Right.
I love her. We have another super chat from Justin Perrone. I'm hoping Sir Harold Westerling takes a good old trip to Dragonstone. Sir Crispin stays salty and musty.
Hypocritical too. I cannot believe he tried to pull some crap with Aemond. Which, by the way, I realized I already used our one allotted PG-13 F-bomb this stream. So, yeah.
Not even 10 minutes in, Alisha.
I'm sorry. So, MJ, you can't F-bomb from now on. But
I'll try.
Since you weren't here last week, I can give you the one P word that we're allowed each episode.
P word?
Pussy.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
I love you guys. We're trying
not to get limited ads.
Sorry. We have another super chat. Thank you, Leona Dawn. Given of what we found out about Allison and Larys's relationship, do you think that there's more to her relationship with Krusty Cole?
No.
I don't know.
Not yet.
it seems like Kristen is the lady that doth be protesting too much. It was what he said about, I view all women in the image of the mother. And I'm like, you just called Rhaenyra, see you next Tuesday.
Like we were
3
there for that,
episodes
bro.
past.
I think, given the relationship that we found out between Allison and Larys, I think Allison is a fucking hypocrite. Like,
Yeah.
you're a hypocrite. How dare you slut shame Rhaenyra? That, because that's basically what she was doing. But the whole time you're letting this weirdo jack off on your feet.
Okay.
And how does that one even reach that arrangement?
That is a great question.
How is that?
I
Apparently
was
it was-
wondering,
apparently
how
it was
did they
hinted
get
at.
there?
Apparently it was hinted at in like episode 6 when she came into her quarters and she took her
Well,
shoes off.
that's fine, but like I need the specifics of how that conversation went down.
Maybe we'll get flashbacks.
I almost don't want it at this point.
I don't want
You
it.
just said.
either.
You just said.
No, I know. My curiosity is there, but do I actually want to know? I don't think I do.
I don't think I do either.
I think I'm good.
Yeah, this was enough for me. I don't have to see this ever again.
I, as well, am afflicted with cat killing curiosity.
I was gonna say we could get more into the.
Though.
I was say we have some really good thoughts on the feet, guys. We're gonna get into the feet. Don't you fret, everyone. We'll do a deep dive into that arrangement, if you will. We have another super chat from Sip. Thank you, who sent a super sticker, which does not pop up here. But if you have a question as well, please feel free to ask it to one of our mods. You don't have to send another super chat for that. Just look for anybody with a wrench. We also have another super chat from Cam Cobain. Am I the only one who heard reggae music playing in the background, hearing the White Worm's accent?
No, I said that from the very first time we saw her. I thought like it's like a blend of different accents, but I definitely heard like some Caribbean notes in there, and I kind of was into it. I know a lot of people hate her accent, and you cringe every time she comes on screen. I know. I hear you. I see you. You're valid, but I enjoy it.
I like it a little bit too. Yeah, it's
I
like
do.
a nice layer to her. It kind of, I was gonna say, was that Meet Joe Black with Brad Pitt? He's like, everything gonna be Irie or whatever he said. It's awful. Oh my god, I try to remember, like, erase that scene out of my mind. But if y'all see the movie, you know what I'm talking about. That's what I was getting from her. But yeah, I definitely hear the hints.
Her accent doesn't make me feel strongly one way or another, but I will recognize it's got to be awfully hard to, with so many different dialects and accents in this world, it's really hard to just make up your own. So given the circumstances, I think she does well. And it's not supposed to be like a recognizable in our real world accent.
Right.
So,
It's a foreign land in a made up place.
yeah.
It's not supposed to sound like anything we've heard.
Yeah.
Exactly. We have another super chat. We're going to answer a couple more super chats and then we're going to start getting into this episode, guys. We have one from Ijovu. Did I hear thank you. Did I hear Allison call Rainey's cousin? Am I missing something?
It's cousin by marriage. She's her husband's cousin. They're cousins.
Yeah, what Mandy said. Boop. And next super chat from Trevor Jones. Thank you. R.I.P. Lord Beesbury. Man may have lost the plot sometimes, but he knew when to call Allison out on her bullshit. And I think this would be a good place for us to really get into the episode. What do you guys think?
Let's do it.
Let's go. Let's get into it. So we open up. We had little chamber pot lad. That was a little boy with the blonde hair that was running around earlier. He's a guy who changes. Yeah, I call him the chamber pot lad. I don't know the exact position, but he's a guy who changes Viserys' chamber pot. So
is that what he was doing in there?
Yes, I found that in the
Did you take your morning shit, my lord?
Essentially.
I think it's called like a scullery or something.
Yeah, that sounds way accurate. And I feel like I've heard that word before. But yeah, we have him. He's the first person that walks in. We obviously don't see him see Viserys. We see him walk out. It kind of was evoking a bit of that Light of the Seven, like season 6 finale type of thing with the music. But We get him walking through the Red Keep. He goes and tells Talia, who is Allison's handmaiden here, the news. She then goes and tells Allison, and we have this ugly conversation between father and daughter where, you know, she tells her father next, hey, guess what? Viserys is dead. And he's like, who knows? And I wish I had it pulled up here, but our lovely girl Talia in the window lights a set of candles right after this moment.
It was Kwanzaa.
I was going to say, on a serious note, what did you guys, well, I have a feeling I know what you guys are going to say, but what did you guys think the whole deal with the candles was?
Well, we've seen signaling with candles in windows before.
Yeah, that's
So
what I think
that
she was doing.
Yeah, I don't think it's beyond the realm of possibility that that's what she was doing. I think that's the most likely answer. So someone out there knows ahead of time, and that could be like next episode we might see someone like showing up to warn the Blacks. I don't know for sure because we don't know how it's going to happen, but that would be my guess, is that she was signaling to someone who's going to then carry the news elsewhere.
I took it as she was signaling to Miss Arya.
Yeah,
because she
no,
kept,
you're absolutely right.
because she kept, as she was lighting the candles, you see her pull a little end table in front of the window, and then you see her put up the candle stand or whatever it's called. Sorry, words are hard tonight.
Candelabra.
The candelabra.
Candelabra. And then and as she's, I missed you. And then as she's lighting the candle, she keeps like looking over her shoulder. So I definitely think she was signaling to someone.
No, you're absolutely right. It was Miss Arya.
I definitely think it was Miss Arya as well, because the fact that comes after Otto says, who knows? And obviously word hasn't gotten out yet, but later on we do see in their interaction, she clearly knows what's up. So after we move on from this scene, we get the official first meeting of the Green Council. It's orientation, and not everybody, I guess, got the itinerary for the coup. And unfortunately, we say goodbye to the realest man.
He went off.
You know what?
You
know what I find hilarious? That two people that sit on this Green Council are people that Rhaenyra dubbed. Because the Lannister guy, she isn't that the one that they wanted her to get married to or something?
The twin brother.
His twin.
It wasn't him?
No.
It was his twin. Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, that doesn't count then. Never mind. Carry on.
Oh, actually, what I thought was interesting when we get the beginning of the meeting, the first thing that Tyland says, like when he's kind of like, why are we meeting so early, is, oh, did Dorne invade?
And everyone's like, bro, shut up.
Right? Yeah, so for like, people that
read the fucking room. Oh,
I know.
Sorry.
And for like for those that may not remember,
F-bombs now.
We need a cuss cup. We need a cuss cup.
Yeah, I was say so. Dorne has teamed up with the Triarchy, and they're kind of working together in that fight in the Stepstones that Corlys was just injured in, which is why he brought up, is Dorne the one invading us? So it's not like super random, but kind of obviously read the room. Viserys literally was like about to die last week. And by last week, I mean last episode. Clearly,
why was Beesbury like, the king was well last night? It's like
describe
it.
He hasn't been well for a hot minute.
Like, define well. Beesburger.
Actually, now that I think about it, I get what he's saying, because that's the first time they saw Viserys actually out and about in a long time. He's been bedridden.
He did seem
he
a little
used up
more
the rest of his
Hardy.
HP doing that, though.
Yeah. He shall not respawn. But one thing that was interesting to me was that they were like, hey, we can now proceed with these long laid plans. And Allison's like, you conspired to put my son on the throne without me. Like, bro, be for fucking real.
Cuss cup.
Sorry. BFFR. BFFR, because I swear that made no sense to me, because they've been plotting for your son to be king because you've been actively partaking in these plots. The most recent one, the same day Viserys died, like that, getting Luke Harris not named heir for Driftmark is a huge blow to Rhaenyra's claim to the throne, because if they can prove those kids are bastards, technically she wouldn't be that would hurt her claim to the throne, because they can't follow her on the throne because they're bastards.
Well, it would be high treason on Rhaenyra's part because patriarchy.
Yeah. So she was just actively doing that shit last week. So what are
Okay, so I'm not trying to defend anything the Greens do, because it's been too many years that I've been Team Black. But I do feel like there's a certain amount of, I don't know if I would call it cognitive dissonance at this point, but it's like she wants her cake and eat it too out of the situation. Like, she wants Rhaenyra to be well, but she also wants her son on the throne. That's what she's been taught for years and years. Put Aegon on the throne, prepare Aegon to rule. She didn't see how putting her son on the throne would put Rhaenyra's life at risk, because she chose not to.
It was like willful ignorance on her behalf,
Yes,
which I wholeheartedly agree. I also wanted to point out, when they're going over the parts of the coup, there are a couple lines in there that are thrown in that are going to be important later on. Not going to get too spoiler as to why, but
the Daemon.
He asked the 2 City Watch captains that are so loyal to Daemon. Tyland Lannister mentions the gold is already getting prepared to be divided. Which is going to be a big thing in season 2. Also, for us to send the Ravens to our allies, and the first ones they mention are Riverrun and Highgarden.
And then Storm's End
is questionable, but Tyland very, very poignantly points out that Lord Baratheon has 4 daughters that are unwed, which obviously they're hinting at. Aemond obviously is not betrothed at this point, so they can make that a marriage alliance.
Yeah, but they cut that part off a bit soon, because Allison was like, okay, what of Rhaenyra?
Yeah. And so sorry, this just makes me so sad. Look at my guy.
You know what, though? I'm glad that no, I don't want to say it, because the way he died was like no better, but at least it was instant. I
honestly prefer this method versus him having, so in the books his throat allegedly gets sliced by Kristen Cole. I prefer it being that he was using brute force, and I don't believe he underestimated his own strength. I think it was very intentional what he did, personally speaking, but he's a brute at the end of the day. Kristen Cole is a brute. We've seen him lose his cool and lose his SHIT multiple times before. This is like the second High Lord, or at least second Lord, that he's murdered in the Red Keep. And somehow, some way, he keeps getting away with this crap.
I think that's where Harold was like,
take your fucking cloak off.
Yeah, exactly. Like, enough is enough. Cuss cop. I'm just gonna keep doing that. Cuss cop. But no, I did love Harold in this scene. I loved Graham's nonverbals. Like the way he looked increasingly uncomfortable. And you could even see him slightly, and I mean ever so slightly, like you could tell he was slightly shaking a little bit. You know?
Yeah.
And when he had his face off with Kristen Cole, before he put his sword away, he's like, oh, so it's come to this? And Otto's like, enough, Lord Commander. And he's like, no, this is Fuck Uri.
It is. And then we have
I say fuckery?
I don't know.
We're gonna say fuck. Can we say
but-
fuck?
But we have
Stop saying fuck.
so like we brought up earlier, Allison kind of is like, well, what are we going to do about Rhaenyra? Because Otto proposes that Sir Harold Westerling should take a group of men, go to Dragonstone, and essentially kill Rhaenyra, Daemon, and their whole family. And that's
How
when my
did you
boy.
think that was gonna be quick and clean?
Yeah, be quick and clean about it. And I love that Harold Westerling's like, first of all, I only take orders from the king. Until you find one, I'm going elsewhere because
I'm
this is not
surprised
for
they
me.
let him leave. I'm like surprised they let him leave.
Right.
Yeah,
I
after he
was
said
scared.
nobody leaves until the door until we say so, and Harold Wilson was like, "Yeah, I dare you to try to tell me I can't go."
Well, technically, he didn't quit. He just said, I'm not doing anything until there's a new king. So they could have interpreted that as like, okay, well, we actually have to crown Aegon and see what Aegon has to say about this. However, I was really scared watching the previews for next week because I did see Beesbury taking a little nap against the table. And I saw that Kristen had his sword drawn against Westerling. And I was scared that Kristen was going to murder him too. Because Kristen's out of control.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit for next week, but there looks like there might be some shots with Harold Westerling on Dragonstone, as somebody alluded to earlier in one of the super chats.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say, before we move on, let's catch up with a couple of super chats before we get into our favorite little dreamer. But I don't know where that accent came from. I'm sorry, that was a New Englander in me. But we have a super chat from, I'm gonna be quite honest, I do not know how to pronounce this.
Oh, that one's
And I
easy.
apologize. Oh, then please go ahead.
It's European, clearly.
All right.
That the profile picture looks like Klaus from the originals.
Yeah, it's Niklaus Michelson.
Yeah.
Okay, so Niklaus Michelson, thank you. I think Kristen Cole will always love Rhaenyra. He's still heartbroken over her, but she's moved on. Corlys would be hella proud of his wife.
Love Rhaenyra.
I think he's been hung up on the Targusy, and
I
he
don't
can't let it
think
go.
he loves her. I think
Yeah.
he fucking hates her guts. He hates her guts.
He fucking hates her guts.
He hates her guts really bad. She is a fugly slut to him.
Yeah, she
Do
is.
not trust her.
Yeah,
Okay.
He hates her.
Corlys would definitely be proud, though.
I maintain that he's a Pisces because only a Pisces can hold on for that long after like one encounter.
Cancers, but I'm surprised you didn't say that one. But water sign. He's a water sign.
I thought he was a Cancer because when HBO dropped their little horoscopes of who was who, I was like, oh, they got. Like, listen, hear me out. Christian Cole.
At some point, everybody knows I do enough slandering of other people's signs. At what point do I just come for my own sign's throat and be honest?
I rebuke it because I'm also a Pisces. But rebuke it. But speaking of,
okay, in the chat, have you ever dated a Pisces? Yes or no? I have. And I'm telling you.
Oh, this is perfect, actually. This next super chat, thank you from Finn Bade Aluko. Good evening, Queens. Am I the only one who wasn't a fan of the changes made from book to show this episode? E.g. # butterfly effect. P.S. I love you, Alisha. P.P.P.S. I love you, Gray. I love DWC Queens. Thank you.
I got the first I love you, yeah.
Yeah. I like how you did your amen.
It's like amen all the time is just like
I would say with some of the changes, I think we're gonna probably get through them a little bit more as we go on throughout the episode, since we kind of just at least addressed one with the manner of Beesbury's death. But I'm assuming they mean more so like what happens during the coronation. I'm assuming that's what they're alluding to.
There were a couple changes. Yeah.
I'm assuming that's kind of like the big one that I feel like is gonna have a lot of weird ripple effects.
Like the where is Carmen Sandiego with Aegon? That was show exclusive.
Well, no, they couldn't find him at first in the book. They went to him first and couldn't find him.
Oh, I thought they just found him a bed with another woman.
They did.
I loved,
They did.
I
Or
loved,
did they?
Or
I
did.
loved that scene with Helena before Allison walks in, where she just starts talking about envy, and the beta's like, "Yes, princess," and Helena's
Sure.
like, "Yeah," just looks so satisfied with herself. She's too precious.
I love
Okay.
her. Protect her at all costs. Thank you for the super chat, Live Free 88. OMG, this is my first time ever sending a super chat. Well, thank you. I love you guys and I watch every week, but I disagree that Blood and Cheese is going to be season 2. I'm getting season finale vibes.
So to honor a super chat, but try to keep it spoiler free, all I'm going to say is they could probably get away with mid-season, but I don't know if that's something that would be able to wait till the end of the season to address.
Oh, I think they meant
They
like
mean
this
next week.
season. Like next week, the finale.
Okay. I don't know why, but my head was at like season 2 finale. Okay.
Yeah.
You
I
guys,
think
I
too
have a
much
cold.
needs to happen until we get
Yeah.
to that particular incident.
Agreed. We have another super chat. I'll say we'll get more into this a little bit later when we get into the predictions for next week. We have another super chat from where'd it go? From Taylor. As a Black woman, hot tea is the only time I'm okay with hearing the term "the blacks." Yeah, girl, big same, big same. All right,
It's the only time anyone's allowed to say it.
Oh, yeah, seriously. Like,
And I don't want to hear anyone with a Southern accent say it for reasons.
Highly agree. I was about to swear too. So actually, speaking of that scene with Helena that you just brought up, we get into this scene with Helena and the twins, the babies. We have Jaehaerys and Jaehaera. Can't really tell which one is which.
They're Aemons.
I don't subscribe to that.
They're Aemons all day.
I would love for them to be Aemons, but at the same time, I kind of like the will they, won't they of Helena and Aemond.
Will they, won't they?
Yeah,
I
like
did
will they get together?
notice-
Will they, won't they get
Oh.
together?
I did notice that when Allison sat down next to Helena, she moved over a couple inches. And then she was like, okay, I'm not trying to do this to my girl Helena, but she kind of reminded me of Smeagol in The Two Towers. He's like, when he's like, they do not see what lies ahead when the sun is veiled and the moon is dead. Just random. There's a beast under the boards, And her mom goes to touch her and she like flinches away. Like, don't touch me. But and she was very stressed out. But as soon as Aemon walked into the room, she was like Buster Bluth over there. Hey, brother.
She was, yeah, you could definitely tell she has a better relationship with her brother than her mom. But she did bring up, you brought up that quote that she says, "It is our fate to crave what is given to another. If one possesses a thing, the other will take it away." I don't think this is another one of her dreams. I think this is just actually a really profound statement of what's going on with the essentially contested claims of her brother and sister, is more or less how I kind of read it. Like, I think she knows her dad's dead. Like, they all seem to kind of, like, without even saying it, they all seem to kind of read the room that that's what Allison isn't, like, there to share with them.
Bro, no one cares. No one cares that you're still salty about that shit. I'm glad you paid. We're not reading it. Next.
Okay, I'm not even that far in the chat, so I'll probably know when I catch up. But with what was I just about to say? Oh, so again, our little bug princess over here, she's stitching a bug in the middle of all this. But it's a little spider. So after we have this scene, this is just going into her little predictions there. We have Otto going up to Sir Eric, who is Aegon's sworn shield, and he's like, well, where's Aegon? Because essentially Allison and Otto are on a race to figure out who can find Aegon first, essentially to influence him in what he's going to do with Rhaenyra is kind of like the big thing that they're going back and forth about. And he gets Eric and he's like, take your brother Arah, just kind of the twins, one's with the E, one's with the A. I guess the easiest way to tell is their mustaches are slightly different. So Eric's curls up and Eric's is curls down.
The one that curls up is the villain.
The one that curls up is the one we like.
Okay, shit. Why they do that? Why they do that? Because the evil mustache that curls up, that should be the
mustachio.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why I feel like they did it that way to confuse us. Like, no, not this one. But Otto tells him essentially, I need you to go find Aegon, like make it happen, Captain. Yeah. So they go on that mission. And then in the meantime, we start seeing Talia and other members, like servants, getting rounded up. And while they're being rounded up, we see Rainey's is locked in her room. And she can't get out. She notices when she looks out the, into the, out her little window, she notices all these servants being ushered in. And you could tell she kind of pieced it together that Viserys is most likely dead. Like, she definitely put that all together fairly quickly.
Yeah. She's so smart. I love her.
She's a genius. That girl, I'll tell you. I love me some Rainey's. But
I knew the whole time she was gonna get to Melee's, but I didn't know it was gonna pop off like that. But I knew she was gonna get to Melee's.
Oh, definitely. There was nothing stopping that. Eventually she was gonna make her way to Melee's.
Bro, no Targaryen is leaving their dragon, period. Period.
Exactly. And then we move on, and the next team is put together. So we have Otto, Eric, and Arah, and Allison enlists Kristen Cole, and Aemond volunteers as tribute to go find Aegon. And
okay,
I just say
something, guys?
Oh, please do, because I feel like we're going to be on the same page with this.
I don't hate Aemond.
Me either.
I don't
Me either.
It's very upsetting.
Even though he is definitely knockoff Daemon, I actually do like him. I like him better than Aegon, because I think Aegon's going to be a hot mess.
Well, I look at that scene.
I am very interested to see how they do next week. I feel like however they do next week is going to depend on whether he's cool or he's not.
Yeah, I think next week the way they handle that is going to be kind of like a good make it or break it.
Yeah.
Or at least a start of one.
I'm pretty sure we're going to see the eye.
Oh yeah. It does look like
that's when I thought they weren't going to do it.
I'm so excited. You guys have no idea.
Speaking of, it looks
that
like
makes Euron Greyjoy look so fucking lame in Game of Thrones. I'm so sorry, guys.
It does.
Trying one day at a time.
Question for you guys. Did you guys get this weird feeling, this weird tension between these two? Why is she so close? For the love you bear with me, go get Aegon. What are you? What?
McQueen.
Because she knows how to manipulate men. She knows how to get what she wants. She knows how to get what she wants from men. That's why I really like the conversation that she had with Rainey's when Rainey was like, you're just making a window in your prison. You're still doing the work of men. You're not making your own decisions. You're still doing what Daddy says.
Exactly. And that's
I do like that she kind of did her own thing.
I do too.
Well, and I like that she told Otto that she felt that way too. She's like, I don't know what I wanted. All I knew is that I wanted what you told me to want.
And then he's gonna tell her, "You look just like your mother in certain lights." And
right? I would have rolled my eyes and walked away too.
He's the worst. He's so weird.
He really is.
He's so gross.
I'll say before we get into the big race to find Aegon, I just want to hit a couple more super chats. We have quite a few. We have another one from each of you. Thank you. The difference between Allison and Rhaenyra is the difference between hoe and who. The latter has agency over her feet or any other body part. I would say
I don't think either one of them are hoes.
I don't either. I
Huh?
think they're grown women.
I mean, Rhaenyra's been with what, 4 people in 20 years? That hardly constitutes.
Like,
as-
right, I'd be like wondering, like, what are these people's body counts? Were like 4 people, whore of Dragonstone, 4 people, 2 of which she's married to and has multiple children by. Like, that's weird.
Yeah, y'all are weird. I agree with that. We also have one from Israel Ruiz. Thoughts on Allison being Princess Sarah's daughter?
Huh?
I believe they mean Jaehaerys's daughter. I don't think so because of I don't know. I feel like Sarah has better taste than Hightower's.
There's no way.
Yeah.
Well, you remember, Alisha, when I talked about it a couple of weeks ago when we were discussing the Hightowers and how it's strange that Allison's older siblings and the other like members of the Hightower family all had like typical Targaryen-esque names, and Otto's wife was never named.
Huh.
So we don't know who they are, but her older siblings have very, very Valyrian sounding names.
I doubt she's Sarah's daughter because
No, I don't think so either.
Sarah was living her best life in Essos.
Yeah.
There's no way she would like come back for freaking Otto Hightower. Like, there's no way.
Yeah,
No,
no.
I don't
Look,
think
maybe he was
Sarah.
hot back in the day.
He's
Yeah.
still
You never
Spoiler,
know.
he wasn't.
When I asked,
Well-
he still would have been a
Well,
bitch.
yeah. Also, they mentioned his wife being dead, and I feel like if Sarah was his wife, that'd be a very well-known thing.
I think more likely it would be one of Sarah's children.
Yeah, I could see that more or less. We also have a super chat from Lucas Sexton. Oh, dang. IDK, what story thread are y'all most excited about for the finale?
oh,
Storm's End. That's just me.
yeah.
Storm's End, yeah, but that's gonna be super sad. I kind of am really interested to see what's going on that bridge. If you look at the preview trailer, they're on the bridge. It's Daemon Rhaenyra, it's Otto, it's the Grand Maester. Like, what is going on? And why would Otto bring his raggedy ass to Dragonstone?
To treat with her.
Why would he when they should kill him right then and there?
Agreed. Yeah, it's weird.
So this has
I'll
to
be
be
interested if they do it.
that has to happen before Storm's End. Because there's no way he's going to try to treat with her after.
Oh, absolutely not. I feel like Storm's End's probably gonna be like one of the final scenes we see.
And I think like first when it comes to Storm's End, I think that was another reason that Rainey's didn't just Dracarys because that what she did in the Dragon Pit is gonna make what happens at Storm's End so much worse. Because like you were shown mercy. You were shown mercy when she could have killed all of you.
Can we stay spoiler free?
We're not spoiler free?
Well, yeah, there's a lot of alluding.
Yeah. I would say we have this other super chat, and I kind of want to get back into the episode. From Finn Bade Aluko. Thank you for the other super chat. In Gray's voice. Gray, do you want to read that?
Also, I'm pretty sure the beast beneath the boards refers to blood and cheese.
Yeah, so we kind of spoke on this a little bit earlier. We're kind of splits. We're a bit splits, but let's get back into the episode for a second. So we have bros. The bros
stupid hat.
and these I hate that hat. And essentially
That hat can burn in hell.
Eric and Eric have a slight advantage just because Eric is Aegon's personal guard, so he has more knowledge of his coming and goings. Aemond decides to take Chris and Cole to a brothel that they once went to when he was 13, where Aemon took him to lose his manhood to a sex worker. And we get this lovely...
Can we talk about how weeks ago, Mandy and I literally joked about him being like, Mom, I got my willy wet. And
Oh,
he
I know.
literally talked about getting it wet this episode, and it made my heart smile.
I laughed so hard.
It's like they knew you were watching.
To get it wet. So
literally. And we get this moment. Every woman is an image of the mother, to be spoken of with reverence.
A fraud.
Really, bro? Really? But obviously, Aegon's not there because Aegon's tastes have changed over the years drastically in a really disgusting way.
I guess it's funny to me that Aemond and all his silent let me go find him, all that other stuff was like, well, Sir Eric is not the only person that knows where Aegon would go to, and the first establishment they go to was a bust. And he's like, never mind, I'm not depraved enough to know where he'll go to.
He's like, we went there once a couple of years ago, and he thought that was just still the spot, and it clearly is not the spot.
It's the only place you could think of. That one time, my brother let me hang out with him and his friends.
No, literally, that's exactly pretty much what happened. So as this obviously did not work out, we cut back to the Red Keep. We get this scene where Otto essentially asks the people that are there at court, the High Lords and Ladies, to swear fealty to Aegon. But I wish I had the
Shout out
picture.
to the dude that was trying to be like, let me go confer with my house.
Right.
Yeah, I love him.
I don't
he's like, I'm not an
understand.
oath breaker. Sorry, I didn't have his picture, guys. But what were you saying?
I don't understand why they just don't lie.
Well, Lord Caswell tried to.
Right, but he like took too long to kneel. Right away, I'd have just been like, okay, sir, kneel.
That's right. Laris was watching him.
Yeah. And that's why he didn't get away.
That's exactly why.
Soon as everybody went to sleep, I'd have been out there, bitch. Soon as everybody went to sleep, I would lie at first. Yeah.
He tried to go too soon. And it wasn't smooth when he's like, I guess I expected like more of a witty conversation. But he's like, I have no love for Rhaenyra. And Otto's like, okay, so where were you going? And he's like,
why didn't he just be like, to the store? Duh.
Right. I was going to go to the Street of Silk.
I was going to get some Arbor Gold, sir. The fuck?
Duh.
I thought we were turning up for the coronation, no? Like,
right.
So wrong.
But obviously, things aren't going to turn well for Caswell. And this is Lady Fell. I wish I got Mr. I'm no Oathbreaker, but sorry I didn't get a picture of him, guys, for you. But we know him. We love him. And then I put it here so you guys know this is concept art. This is not photos of actual children. This is concept art from the episode. This is an animatic. These are not real humans. I just want that to be blatantly clear for everybody.
I like that we got to see where Rorig and Biter come from.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I had that literally in my notes to bring that up, that this is definitely where they got their start.
Yeah, Rorig, Biter, and the fighting pits.
I didn't even think about them during this scene. That's good. That's really good.
And then we have Aegon has a ton of bastards running around.
Do we think this might be Gaiman?
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
I think so.
I think right.
And we start to see that Sir Eric, that's the protector of Aegon, he's disgusted by Aegon's behavior. Like he's like, you could tell this has been something that's been bothering him for a while. And he just has had it with Aegon. He does not think Aegon should be king at all. Just throwing that out there. He is not with that. For very good reason, because if you see where he said, like, this isn't even the worst of it.
Yeah.
Well, even the way he was talking about Aegon to Aegon's grandfather, like, as much as he dares to say something disdainful, he was like, he exploits his authority and he evades me.
Yeah, he did. And it's, I mean, are we surprised that Aegon does that? Probably not, because
But he was basically like, no, you're not going to come from my throat about this.
Yeah. Like, I'm doing what the prince told me to do, so talk to him about that.
Right.
Yeah.
And while we're in the little fighting pit, they get approached by, sorry, I could not fit a picture of her in costume, this actress here, and I had her name pulled up earlier. I am so sorry, ma'am. But she plays a character named Jane.
I think it's Nettles.
I disagree only because they named her Jane on IMDb and on the official credits.
I know, but we don't know Nettles if Nettles had a different name or if that was like a name or something. But the reason that I thought it was Nettles, right, is because it's really petty why I thought it was Nettles. because she had on a brown cloak, like all of her clothes were brown, and we know that Nettles wears brown clothes, but also because she looked like the art from the Game of Thrones, Dance of Dragons from like season 6, like the animated art, like same hair, skin tone, all that stuff. But because I want them to do more with Nettles. Like, I don't want Nettles just to like pop up. And like I want them to go like really dive deep with her character. And I think it would be interesting like if she was around King's Landing. And it's like hinted at that she was around King's Landing because she has like that cut on her nose. And that was something that was a punishment that Daemon had implemented when he was commander of the Gold Cloaks, that like thieves get like cut on the nose or some shit. So I would like the idea that she's with Mysaria and that's how Daemon meets her, and like, or Daemon's kid that Mysaria is keeping without him knowing. I don't know. I think it would be interesting if it's her.
I think it would be an interesting idea.
Because I think we should get to know her, and like not just her, but like Hugh the Hammer, some other people. We should get to know them before that happens.
Yeah, I would say if we haven't seen them yet, or by next episode, at least start sprinkling them in next season at minimum, I'd imagine.
Yeah, because that happens pretty fast.
Yeah, I think the beginning of season 2 is going to be full of a lot of new faces.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get a lot of new faces, and it seems like so like season 1 is very like internal story. It's kind of like about the one family. Everything's kind of not too many moving plot lines like in different locations, like we saw in Game of Thrones, where they're kind of like all over the place. Yeah. Compared to next season, we're gonna see people like all different places across the board. So I think that's kind of good that season 1's kind of tight, but it's gonna expand as time goes on.
Yeah. I know some people were saying that like that they really weren't loving all these time jumps. Well, I think the time jumps are done now.
Yes. And that's something I noticed about this episode, and I think it's why I have such high praise for it. Last episode is where it finally slowed down. And this episode, we got to actually get to know the characters that we've been seeing in passing. Like, I think they did, don't get me wrong, Aegon is absolutely despicable. I don't think they're trying to make him likable. I don't think they're trying to excuse any of his unsavory behavior. However, they actually really got into his character.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're definitely adding more depth to his character, which I appreciate. And speaking of other characters, Aemond, I've been really enjoying Aemond, but I've been saying that for a while. I love that in this episode when him and Kristen, when they're walking around and he's like, you know, if I was the heir, I would want to be found. I've been reading. I have been training. I want this. I am way more qualified than my brother. And he's only going to get it because he's like born before me. Like that's kind of BS. He doesn't even want the throne. And Kristen says something very interesting to him where he's like, oh, I too know what it's like to toil at. Oh, sorry, hold on. That I do to sorry, blah 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 blah. I know what it's like to toil at what others are freely given, which I feel like sums up Kristen Cole's character motivations in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Like, he's so hung up on the fact that Rhaenyra was able to do, like, Rhaenyra did get away with quite a lot in the grand scheme of things when you really think about it. And
I
he's so
think
hung
he's-
up on that, but it's like, bro,
Well-
you have to.
I don't think he was just referring to Rhaenyra, because long before he and Rhaenyra slept together and then he got really upset at the rejection, he spoke quite frequently of, I mean, look at his armor in the first episode. Like, dingy armor. So he keeps saying over and over, I come from nothing, I come from nothing. So that's most definitely got to be what he's referring to in my mind, not just Rhaenyra. Because one of the reasons he's so upset with her is because he feels like she compromised his ability to be on the Kingsguard, and the Kingsguard was in his mind all he had, because he came from nothing.
That's very well put. And I definitely could see why they start to build that kind of kindred spirit bond between the two of them. Because, like, for Aemon, for example, he's, realistically speaking, is he going to get an inheritance? Probably not. And the fact that he also thinks he's next in line when his brother has children is very, very funny, because, bro, you're not next in line. You're actually third.
What if it was Daenerys forgot about the Iron Fleet?
I think it
Plot
was.
hole. Yeah.
Or he planned on usurping the kids. Who knows?
Or because he knows that those kids aren't Aemon's.
Ooh.
He thinks he knows they're his.
Do I hear Chow Chow's parenting in the background?
Yes, girl, they will not go sit down.
Oh, we love them. So after this, we kind of talked about this. Lord Caswell makes up a BS excuse on why he was running away.
Super bad liar.
And essentially Otto's just like, yeah, okay, string him up. But we get this interaction between Otto and Larys where Otto's like, oh, I've noticed you've been spending a lot of time with the queen lately. And he's like, well, there's no reason those, late night visits couldn't be of use to you, which is true. Dude. Because their dinner convo is kind of what got Otto his job back.
Well, okay. Larys was so damn out of line when he said that. Though we don't like Otto, objectively speaking, Larys is so out of line for what he said. And it's the way Otto looked at Larys was maybe like the second time I've ever liked something Otto did. Because I think that is showing a bit of, maybe it's not, in my mind, it's protectiveness, but maybe it could also be pride.
I wonder if Otto will whip I wonder if Otto will whip his freaking feet out for Larys. Put them dogs on the counter.
Okay.
I want to see him.
Oh, if he found out, oh my God, that would be hilarious. Oh my God, the hypocrisy. Ooh, the hypocrisy if he found out.
She's been
I saw a meme of Allison and Otto standing next to each other, and it was like the hand and the feet.
They really are. They really are the hand and the feet. I was going to say, speaking of Allison, we get the scene. The Silent Sisters are preparing Viserys' body for his obvious upcoming funeral. Mm-hmm. And I will say, what I think is the craziest part of this whole day, Allison wakes up super early in the morning, finds out her husband's dead, goes to her dad, then goes to the small council, has that whole big to-do. Lyman Beesbury gets killed in front of her. Then after that, she sees this weird chemistry between her kids that aren't actually married, but she's like, all right, well, whatever. Then she sends little anime boy and her Crispin Cole guy to go fetch Aegon. Then after all this, then she has to go watch them prepare her husband's body. What a crazy day. And it's probably not even like lunchtime yet.
She cried for like 2 seconds and then she's like, no, girl, don't ruin your makeup. Metaphorically, of course.
Do you think I honestly felt like she genuinely was sad about the loss of Viserys.
Yes. Because she was alone. She was alone when she started almost crying.
She cried.
And I
Yeah,
think
also
too,
She didn't have
as
anyone to
much
defend.
as she like didn't necessarily want it, it's still familiarity to her.
Yeah. And I also think part of the reason that she's sad is because now she knows, like, she knows what lies
She
before
knows.
them is
She
going to be
knows.
crazy and tragic. Like, there's no way she doesn't know that once he dies, she knows what their plan is, and she knows what Rhaenyra's plan is, and she knows that they both can't exist together. Both plans can't exist together, so it's about to be a bumpy ride. So I think Viserys being alive was like her paper shield, where she didn't have to act, she didn't have to do anything, because her children would be safe if he was alive. Just like Rhaenyra's children are safe that he's alive, but now they're both in danger, and I think, as much as I don't like Allison, I think a lot of what she does is because she fears for her children.
I agree. Very well said. And after we get this touching scene, we get personally one of my favorite scenes of the episode, the conversation between Rainey's and Allison. So I love how as soon as Allison walks in the door, the first thing that Rainey says is like, the king. Like, she already knows, like, yeah, Viserys is definitely dead just by the way that they're acting. And I love the call out of how Allison's like, you should have been queen. You were more suited to it. You had the better claim than Viserys. He would have been happy being like a country lord with his books and his Legos and whatnot.
But here we are.
And we have to guide men gently to avoid, war and for peace. And Rainey's is like, girl, get out of my face, please. I need you to go away.
Like, I don't want to hear this.
Rainey said, ma'am, I pegged my husband.
And Rainey's is probably so tired of people. She's probably hates that name, like Queen Who Never Was. She's probably so tired of hearing that, because all the shit like Corlys has taken her through and situations he's put her in, when she's like, look, that's behind me. I never wore the crown. I put all of it behind me. And like, he's still doing things to try to get their children like on the throne. So, or their name in the history books. So I think she's kind of tired of hearing that. That was the wrong approach.
Also, Allison is so out of line for coming for Corlys' neck like that.
Yeah.
Oh, facts. And the fact she's like, he left you and he's practically dying. And it's like, girl, first of all, you don't think I knew that? And did you really think this was the right approach?
Right.
I would have slapped her so hard she would have gone to see Jesus.
Yeah. And I like that she did call out, like, essentially, like, you're just working within the patriarchy, but have you ever envisioned yourself on the Iron Throne?
And Allison's
feel
going to
like-
sit there looking stupid.
I think she was just like, oh, I never thought of it that way. Or something corny like that. But before we move on into the next section, I just catch up on a couple quick super chats. We have one from Count Balerion of House Tatters. Will Rainey's not burning greeners, I'm assuming the greens, be mentioned later or hand waved? Fairly big consequences. Personally, I think it's going to be mentioned next episode when she gets to Dragonstone.
Well, at the time, Rainey's maybe felt... I think Rainey's felt like it was very unnecessary at that time. Like, the consequences in Rainey's mind probably far outweighed like good that could have come from her burning up the whole family, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it kind of echoes to the conversation Allison and Otto have a little bit later about not wanting to murder people isn't really necessarily a weakness. I was kind of getting that kind of a vibe. We also had another super chat from George Pelapar. Thank you. What are your thoughts on Foot Club? And do you think Larys could be warging into rats to get a better view of people's feet?
I like the theory that he wargs into rats, but I don't necessarily buy that theory. I don't think him to be like that powerful on in a magical sense. I think him to be more like a Littlefinger where he's just smart, or like a Varys where he just has spies. And we've seen that he does have like a spy network or an assassin network. I wouldn't even say it's a spy network, an assassin network. But I think he's just a creepy guy. Like, he's just super creepy. And if he could warg into rats, he would be climbing all over people's feet in bed.
Oh, definitely a little horny toad. But we have another super chat from Josh. Thank you. The amount of Team Black I saw online was a choice. Well, wrong stream, buddy. Oh, sorry, he amended that. I meant green. Okay, all right, that's better. I'll say,
I was like, has he
new
heard
here?
us?
We're
over here. Like, I hate to say anything good about the Greens, but that's us.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah.
We have another super chat from Ijovu. Who was Larys referring to when he said the Weaver was watching over Allison and Otto?
Mysaria.
That would be our lovely Lady Misery, or Mysaria if you're nasty.
It's funny that he calls it Weaver, because wasn't Helena just talking about weaving something?
Yeah, so that I think that's where they meant by bringing in Otto into that.
Okay, because I know Helena was like the loom hand turns the loom something. I like what you're doing with Mysaria.
Actually, since we're here, let's get into the scene with Mysaria and Otto. I like Mysaria's face better, so we're gonna look at her. What I thought was interesting when he approaches her, is like, "Oh, so you're the White Worm." I'd have been like, "Remember that time you called me Damon's whore? Remember that?"
I don't think he remembers it's her.
I don't think he does either. But if I were her, I would remember that. I'd be like,
Remember
that one time? Remember that one time? And I look at you begging me for information.
And you know too, Damon's like probably complained about Otto a couple times to her.
Definitely.
So, I mean, but no, she seemed like all she really wanted was kids to be treated like kids and not whatever that was.
Yeah, I will say the price of information seems pretty reasonable if it involves, hey, let's end child cruelty. That's a nice thing. Or, hey, let me just look at your feet. Like, yeah, pretty reasonable prices for info. And if you ask me, I don't know. But while they're having
the whole thing with the feet really sat wrong with me. I know that a lot of people are like, oh, she put herself in that situation, she's doing it to herself, but I just go back to the scene of her and Viserys and her just dissociating the hell away from him, and the way that she did the same thing with Larys. Like, I feel bad for her. It's upsetting.
Yeah.
I feel bad for her because she has made choices subsequent to the situation she was placed in. She didn't have the choice to go that route in the first place, and she's making the best choices she thinks she can, given what she's been dealt.
If I sell my feet pics online, don't feel sad for me. I'm doing it of my own free will. Like, that's how that's how I feel about Allison. Like, I feel like she's taking. I didn't get creeped out vibes from it. Yes, she's creeped out at him. She doesn't want to see him jerk off, but I feel like she's making a conscious choice to do this. Like, I want this information from him. I'm going to do this. I'm going to use what I have to get what I want. I don't think it's like, I think it's like her finally having her own say over her body.
Yeah, she only. So I think it was the girl Nettles on Twitter. She's like, Allison's only lords. If you guys have
Wow.
subscribed to it instead of OnlyFans. But in this, before I forget, so in this conversation, while this is happening, they get kind of made because Chris and Cole and Eamon kind of just like stumble upon them. Like they kind of just oversee because they see Eric and then they're like, wait a minute, let's follow them after. And that's when we find out where Aegon is. He is sleeping in the sept. And this scene I thought was so funny. Of all places for him to be sleeping in. And I thought it was interesting because he asks immediately, oh, where's the white worm? So Masari must have told him, like, oh, your dad died. And he was just like, please just hide me. I don't want to see these people. Like, I'm all set, bro. Like, I'm good. I'm good, love and joy. As we see, he just wants to get drunk. And he's kind of like his dad in that way. They don't really actually want to rule. They kind of just get forced into doing it. It's not their, like, main choice of things that they really want to do. I get from Viserys and Aegon in that matter. And as we see, once they drag him out, they start bringing him outside. Aemond and Kristen get the drop on them. And we get this bit of a showdown between Aemond and Aegon and Kristen and Eric. Meanwhile, Sir Eric, sorry guys, I know, super confusing. Sir Eric, the one that's Aegon's personal guard, he's just kind of looking on and doesn't involve himself because he's kind of at this point already made his decision. He's over it. He's over Aegon. He doesn't want to help or participate in his ascension. Like, you can tell he's just like, yeah, I'll do what you want. I'm good.
Okay, but I don't want to underappreciate the wrestling between Aemond and Aegon. It was actually quite amusing. Like, I was half expecting them to start like slapping each other back and forth, like slapping each other's hands.
Like on that movie Step Brothers.
Yes. Yes. And the whole time, like, it's great if you watch it with captions, because the whole time that Kristen and Arah are sword fighting, you just hear Aegon being like, brother. and
like laughing.
I do like when he said, when Aemond, I like that line from Aemond. He was like, Aegon was like, is he really dead? And Aemon's like, yeah, and they're gonna make you king. Like,
and then he spits in his face.
Yes. And they gonna make you king.
It was okay when they first dragged him out from under the candles. After he says, where's the white worm? The second thing he says is, I want my mother.
Yes.
Which is super cute.
And I feel like he has some animosity towards Otto. Like,
oh,
real.
yeah.
Who wouldn't?
I mean, I think he kind of pieced it together that his grandfather, Otto, is the reason why he's in this predicament to begin with. Because it's Otto that's pushing this agenda. Aegon doesn't want to be king. Like, I don't think until the very end of this episode, I think that's when he finally, like, once he starts getting cheered, I think that's when he finally is like, oh, actually, I do want this. I like this.
Well, it's the only affirmation he's ever received his entire life.
Yeah,
exactly.
He's like asking her on their way to the coronation, like, do you love me? Like, do you love me, Mom?
And she calls him like, an imbecile.
She smiled. Okay, I actually thought that was meant to be kind of endearing when she's like, how could you say that? And here's the thing. It's not like...
But she still didn't say, yes, of course I love you, son.
Yeah.
Well, because they cut the scene short. However, like, yeah, I understand that whoever was on that dais couldn't really get away from Dragonfire anyway, but she did when Melee's
got in front of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's when he finally had some affirmation. But I did want to point out in their tussle, Aegon says, just let me go. I'll grab a
hand doing that.
Oh, actually, this is going to lead into the next super chat. I just wanted to say a quick point that Aegon asked to essentially be like, oh, let me take a ship. Let me flee. You can take the throne. I don't want it. And you could see the look on Aemon's face where he's like, fudge, if I was alone, I definitely would have taken him up on this offer.
Okay, so I'm going to take a moment to say anyone who has not read the books, mute it for like 10 seconds. Because spoilers in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is going to be great when Aegon is a bit predisposed
On the
in
half.
future seasons. And Aemond is like, well, I'm Prince Consort, so let's go.
Oh, when he's
Because
regent?
he did seem, yeah, he did I say Prince Consort?
Yeah.
Y'all know what I mean. Prince Regent. He seemed pretty eager in the books. I mean, he put the crown on his head. So this isn't super like out of pocket for Ryan Condal to write this in.
Yeah, I thought it was a great choice to add that in where it's kind of like, which makes the difference between Aemon and Daemon even greater because Daemon genuinely did not want the throne. He just wanted his older brother's love. Aemon wants the throne and feels that he's better suited to it.
Yeah.
All right, spoilers over. They were asking if the spoiler was over.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
It's
okay.
over. Which I want to bring up this quick super chat from Knight of Ice and Fire. Thank you. Hey, ladies, thanks for the great content as always. Do you think Kristen Cole did enough to earn the Kingmaker moniker from Fire and Blood?
Hell no. I think Otto is the kingmaker for sure.
Oh, Otto definitely. I think more so where Kristen's the one who put the crown on Aegon's head and where he's the one who kind of like clapped Lyman Beesbury, which is essentially almost like the first casualty in all of this. I still think it's Otto, but debates could be made.
R.I.P. Beesburs.
R.I.P. the realist. We have another super chat from Trey Diaz. Cole seems to be in love with Allison.
He's in love with any woman that gives him attention, apparently.
Yeah.
Of any woman of a high status, a princess and a queen. He aims high.
Yeah.
He aims high as shit.
Yo, he's way out high above his station. We also have this other super chat from Sharmilla Williams. Thank you. Just thank you for having these live streams. Love all of you and appreciate all the work you do for us. Thank you. And I'm going to just this last super chat before we get back into the episode. Thank you, Trey Diaz, again. I have to get back to work, so forgive me for jumping. I wish Rainey's would have killed Otto. Yes, it's on the books, but it would have set Allison completely off. I mean, imagine if Melee's really did just bite Otto and just ate him and just like flew off. I think we'd all be a little happy about that, no? Maybe.
Yeah, I would be.
I would have loved it if she blew at least a flaming snot rocket at him.
Oh my god, a boogie?
Just
a dragon boogie?
Just caught his pants on fire and then just sat there and be like, liar, liar, pants on fire, and then pulled off.
That would have been perfect.
I need to go to bed.
I love that. I was gonna say, so we get Otto rolling up. I'm just kidding. He's not rolling up. He's writing he's writing letters to people.
Okay, I've never seen a character in any of these shows, any of these Game of Thrones shows, where they put the wax on the inside of the paper like that.
He looks like he's rolling a blunt.
He does.
He does. He's rolling a fat one. He's had a successful day so far. It's about
to get, so that's where Caswell was going.
Caswell runs.
He was going to the plug.
Caswell packs. No, he was going to the plug to get some. I'm just kidding. All right, let me stop. But we get this scene. We kind of touched on it a little bit earlier. Allison and Otto. Allison essentially, boom, I got Aegon. I win. You lose. We're going to give Rhaenyra terms. My son's going to be coronated at dawn tomorrow. Everybody's going to be there that can be there from King's Landing because we need witnesses. And yeah. And all he says to that is, you look like your mother in certain lights. Like, what a demeaning creep. I cannot stand that man.
It's manipulation.
Well, I think he did that because Otto does play it cool for the most part, except for when Daemon is around. But I think that Otto realized in that moment that he's losing grip over Allison. So he was trying to say something that he knew was going to emotionally manipulate her, but she caught on to it. because the memory of her mother means everything to her. So for him to be like, you look just like your mother, he was hoping to endear him to her again, but she saw through it and she rolled her eyes and walked away.
Yeah, she was like, yeah, over this. And the worst part is, I think from this scene, she goes from this scene, literally from her dad saying that really condescending thing after she kind of just checkmated him, to the feet of it all, guys. We're here. We're at the feet. We're at the feet. I know we've been talking about it. Anybody have anything more to
I'd
elaborate on
say
this
she's
feat?
a size 10.
Girl. Love you, Alisha. But yeah, I know we've been kind of talking about the feet. Any other? I feel like we've expressed a lot of thoughts on this throughout the episode.
I think we're good on this scene. We could probably.
I think we're good on the feet, guys. We've
Unless
talked a lot about feet.
unless there are those among you who also enjoy feet, we don't want to shame you. We just think Laris is a creep.
Yeah, not kink shaming. He's just weird.
Yeah.
Sorry for the New England accent.
And I'm not throwing stones at her feet size because I wear a 9.5 to 10 myself. So just
Seep.
Yep.
The only thing I have to add is hit my Cash App if you like Larry. Just kidding.
Or
No.
not. So we get the feats. We're done. We can move past the feats.
Yeah.
So during the feat convo, essentially I'm so sorry. Laris reveals Otto knows about a spy network that's in place and that Allison's handmaiden, Talia, obviously is working from a mystery figure who we know is Massaria. And he's like, do you want me to handle it? Huh? Oh. So he's like, do you want me to handle it? And he decides to burn. I'm assuming this is Massaria's either manse or possibly like brothel, place of business. I doubt Massaria is not in this building because let's be honest, that girl knew what they were about to do before they even did it. So I don't think and we didn't see a body. So no body.
Was there a dragonfly pendant?
Yes, there was a firefly.
Okay. He is such a little pyromaniac. I think two things. Reallocate his blood flow. What was it you called it, Mandy? Blood flow reallocation. There we go.
Yes.
I think he's just anyway. Yeah. Feet pics for
burning
setting
down
buildings
houses
on fire, I guess.
for arson.
Murder.
MJ, what will you do in exchange for your feet pics?
What will I do?
Yeah.
What do I need in exchange?
Yeah.
Dragon.
A dragon. A dragon's egg, actually. That's what I'll do. Or an actual dragon. Make it happen.
Make it happen. So speaking of things happening, we move on. Sir Eric, absolutely fed up, goes to Rainey's and is like, yo, let's get out of here, ma'am. I can't stand this treachery any longer. And the first thing Rainey says is, where's Maylis?
Oh,
I need to get to
like,
Maylis.
first thing she says is, okay.
Well, yeah, okay, but also like, Maylis, where's Maylis? I need my dragon. And, sorry. Oh, there's just a point out the differences. Mustache. Eric. We got that? Cool. And so we get to oh hey. Hey Alisha. So we get
the two of us.
I wish I could sing. I'm not gonna sing. I would sing it, but I'm so
I have a cold right now, so I'm very surprised that wasn't like maybe it was cognitive dissonance and all. Okay.
So we move on. They're essentially making their way. Sir Eric wants to bring Rainey's to the Blackwater so they can get on a ship to either head to Driftmark or Dragonstone, presumably. Rainey's, again, is like kind of hesitant, but she understands, like, know what, let's take the opportunity, let's go. But the crowd is kind of pushing them and ushering them along to exactly where Rainey's wanted to be, and that is the Dragon Pit.
That smile when she realized that's where she was incidentally going.
Oh, it was beautiful. I loved it. She was so excited.
Okay, so the first time I watched it, it took me a hot minute to realize that was the dragon pit. Like, I guess I was busy folding laundry, so I don't know where my head was at, but it didn't register to me dragon pit. So I was like, oh, wherever she's going to, that's going to be a long walk to the dragon pit. And then all of a sudden, boom, melees.
It was like, it was perfect time. It was perfect for her. It's like, oh my gosh, it's like you guys have set me exactly where I planned to go. Who would have thought? And she loses Sir Eric in the crowd. But
she stuck around for a really long time. Like,
yeah, she did.
the...
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, she did. I thought she would have snuck off a little bit sooner than she did.
Mm-hmm.
But on the route to the coronation, we have this conversation we kind of talked about a little bit earlier with Allison and Aegon. But I wanted to point out, when I saw this frame, the first thing I could think of was the book picture of Aegon II with a knife. And him in the cat's paw here. I was like, oh, you guys, what you guys are doing? That was so cute.
I thought about that too. Great minds. Like, as he, like that exact still. Like, I was thinking, because here's the thing, like, I won't lie to you. I guess when I read about these characters in the Dance of the Dragon, my mind, especially if I have a bias against them, my mind tends to turn to, like, creating deformities for them. Like, I thought Larys, in my head, I don't know why, but he was practically like a hunchback.
Like Quasimodo.
Yeah, with the clubbed foot. And I imagined his forehead was real big. And okay, I'm not saying big foreheads are a deformity, but I mean like really, really big forehead.
Yeah,
like
Quasimodo
6 inches long. Yeah.
Yeah. Quasimodo had one of those foreheads.
Yeah. But so I guess like seeing Aegon II, even though he is young in the books, and it's only after certain events happen to him that stress his body out a bit. Spoiler.
Yep.
I just imagined him like this illustration, just kind of like chunky, and
yeah, because
he doesn't look hydrated.
Yeah, he's known for like being drunk and whoring, and he clearly super hungover at his coronation, which is very fitting. And we kind of talked about this carriage ride. So the only other thing I wanted to mention about it, Aegon clearly realizes he's not the favorite child, and as somebody who also is not the favorite child of their parents, I feel you, bro. I see you. Does not give you an excuse to be a deplorable human, though. It's okay. We make space where we can. And it's all right, you know, your dad had only one daughter.
Those things where, like, I think so far the show is handling it well, because I don't think they're seeking to make an excuse for his actions. I think they're just kind of like, this is how he got to be a monster. And I think the reason that they're playing into not so much like sympathy for him, but showing how he's in pain is to also kind of illustrate how Allison, till the cows come home, will say, this is what I did for you, this is what I did for you, this is what I did for you. But she did end up creating a monster and damaging him. Now, it's not quite going to be a carbon copy of Joffrey and Cersei, you know? Like, Allison and Cersei are actually nothing alike from what I have seen. But it's that whole... Like, MJ wrote a tweet that had Aegon at his coronation, and it was quoting what Tyrion said in season 2, I believe, about Joffrey. Like, it's hard to put a leash on a dog once you put a crown on his head. So I think it's one of those things you're supposed to not so much feel sorry for Aegon, but very much get the sense that his parents really did wrong by that dude. And by extension, they did wrong to the realm. Because Aegon is about to, like, I don't think he has anything on Joffrey, but that's where the shift happened. When he finally gets that affirmation from the people, he truly believes that he is the people's king. So this is where the shift happens, that he's going to stop at nothing to keep the crown.
Yeah, I feel like for him, he's always desired to be loved and wanted, because he points it out in that carriage scene, like, his dad didn't care for him at all. His dad barely acknowledged his
Mhm.
existence. And he even says, like,
His
I
mom
doubt,
is-
he's like, I doubt that he changed his mind on his deathbed. That doesn't even make sense. He had 20 years to change his mind and he never did it. That just does
Mhm.
not make sense. And she tries to like put it in his head. Like she brings out the dagger. Like, you know, he did say it was supposed to be you. And you could tell Aegon kind of wants to believe it, but he still doubts that. But it's
Yeah.
this moment when he turns around and that crowd cheers for him. That is when he's really like, know what? He gets that attention and love he's always wanted, and he's getting it from thousands of people.
Mhm.
And it's gonna
Yeah.
really bring out the worst.
And think about
in
it
him.
too. Mom doesn't like him. Dad doesn't like him. Aemond makes it pretty clear, like, I don't like you either. And like, I was watching Helena when they crowned him. She would not look at him. She was constantly like that top right still. She's looking. Oh no, not that
Oh,
one.
sorry. I'll go back. Sorry.
She's looking away. Like Aemond is looking like, I cannot believe this is happening. And Helena's like, I can't watch. You know, like
Yeah.
no one in his family likes him.
Yeah, and it's
And
like
that's gotta hurt.
it definitely. I can imagine how much it hurts. It again, and we're obviously not excusing his behavior, but it
No.
it adds the maths, unfortunately.
Yes.
So I thought it was funny. So he looked great, by the way. This coronation was awesome to watch. I will say that it was very, very magnificent, over the top. I love the whole pomp of it. I was really into it.
He definitely looked like, I guess I've never on screen seen. Okay, there was Viserys and Jaehaerys, but you know what I mean. I've
Mhm.
never seen a Targaryen king that's like that embodies that like he is young, he's not ugly, he's robust looking, and I'm talking about aesthetics here.
Yeah.
You know, the visuals. He's got the Conqueror's crown. He's got Blackfire. Like Viserys was just kind of a joke of a Targaryen.
Yeah,
You know,
he
like
definitely.
visually, this here is a Targaryen king. Visually,
Yeah.
it's a little
Oh,
too bad
definitely.
he's poo-poo.
Him.
But
Yeah. Allison knew what she was doing with the whole like visual of it all, the PR work. She's a good PR person. That girl knows her public relations, let me tell you.
yeah.
So as this is happening, oh man, my girl busting through the floorboards. We get my girl Rainey's on Maylee's,
Okay.
wreaking havoc, and
I saw
know,
some tweets about
it.
I saw some tweets that are like, she was mass murdering. Well, yes, people died, but it's not like how else was she supposed to get out?
Thank you. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, how many realistic exits are there? And she probably was looking for the first exit that she could find. How do we know Maylee's didn't pick this exit?
Right.
How do we know Maylee's didn't want to make a statement? We don't, because dragons have minds of their own. But I will say one thing that had me screaming is the look on their faces once that smoke clears. We see Aemon and Helena kind of like, ah, crap. And then Kristen's kind of protecting Allison. Allison's like, no, I need to go protect my son.
Well, we'll go back to Aemond and Helena.
Oh, there's definitely some will they're
Helena is kind
do
of
it.
giving Rainey's a look of awe more than anything, because Helena always looks away.
Yeah, she does
always
usually.
looks away. But this, I think she knows they're gonna be okay, maybe. But like she is, yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people brought up, and I know some people brought it up earlier in the chat too, about why Rainey's decided not to actually, kill them. And she doesn't say anything. She just pulls up, lets Maylee's do, her little roar, and she exits. And honestly, multitude of reasons why I think killing them right there on the spot would have been a terrible idea.
Yeah.
One, the politics of it all. Not only does she show obviously mercy, but she shows that they're kind of weak. Like I was able to interrupt your whole ceremony and kind of
I don't think she wants bloodshed. Like, she
Yeah, that
doesn't
too.
have enough skin in the game right now to be like, ooh, let me do this for Rhaenyra. She's
Exactly.
just like, hey, leave me alone. This is stupid. But however, I think she does realize, like, her granddaughters that she loves dearly, that is all she has left of one of her kids. She her interests are the same as their interests. Like, yeah, they're just betrothed to Rhaenyra's quote unquote bastards. But never mind. I don't know what.
They're
Yeah,
also
no,
Daemon's
I'm gonna.
children. They're Daemon's
Yes,
children at the end of the day, and they're
yes,
with their father.
yes.
And that's where she needs to go. Also, I think it was also a bit of a don't put baby in the corner. Like, how dare you think you can just
Right.
lock me up like that? Also, people I
You
think
think that was her way of being
feel.
like, ding ding, bitch?
Oh
Because
yeah,
remember when Allison was like, ring the bell when you have a
she's like, oh,
decision.
I rang the bell. I also would say with Rainey's, I feel like a lot of people underestimate the value people put on not being kinslayers.
Yeah.
If she burned them, you know how many people are on that she's related to that are on that dais that she would have just burned that are her family, and
Right.
people take that seriously. Like, they don't murder their own,
It
and she'd
was
be
a show of
murdering.
power.
Yeah, a show of power, and also like I don't really think she wanted to legit murder her cousin that just died's children. Like, I don't think that's something she wanted to do. Because even if,
Correct.
let's say she did do that, and realistically, there's no way to reward her for that. Like, without that causing an outrage, like somebody's like, which you can have to blood raven her and be like, hey, thanks what you did, but you got to go to the wall.
I think
Like,
Rhaenyra would have been pissed.
Rhaenyra would have been pissed because she would have been like, well, I didn't even have terms. Like, what happened? Like, it would not have gone well. I think what she did was this kind of only choice she really could make in this moment, which was, I'm getting my dragon, I'm getting out of here, and y'all aren't going to stop me.
A big difference from the books is that Rhaenyra and Aegon and the other siblings, I guess, never really seem to have any strong dislike of each other.
Yeah.
Like, in the show, it doesn't really touch down on any kind of dislike that they have. In the books, they definitely don't get along with one another.
Yeah, I feel like for the show, where the age gap thing works is that Rhaenyra is so much older than them that they just don't have that type of relationship because they're so far apart.
Yeah.
Is kind of what I get from that. Like, she's like, her children are the same age as her brothers and sister. Like, totally different periods in
Yeah.
life. But the episode ends here, and before we get into what's going to happen next week, we have a lot of super chats we got to catch up on, Alisha. So
Okay. Yes, let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. So we have a super chat. Thank you, Sri Lankan, living abroad for a while. If I saw my friends and family get squished by a dragon, I would despise them and hope they are dead. Rainey's gave the small folk the perfect justification to want the dragons gone in the future. I guess now would be a good spoiler
No
warning.
lies are told here.
Yeah, no lies are told here, and it definitely makes.
Okay, yeah, hold on. Let's do a few seconds. Anything that we say from this point on is probably going to be spoilery. So let's just go ahead and declare the rest of the episode is a spoiler. However, what we will do is say spoiler countdown 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That way, whoever doesn't want to be spoiled doesn't have to completely check out. I'm just saying, like, they're going to be like, it's going to be like a minefield of spoilers from this point on in the episode.
Proceed with caution. So that being said, spoiler 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, the shepherd is going to have an easy time convincing these people.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's going to be so easy.
Especially when they go to storm the dragon pit.
Oh, yeah. That's. I feel like this change was actually a good idea for that moment specifically later. I think how somebody brought up earlier about the butterfly effect. This is kind of what I'm glad that this person brought this up in another super chat. Kind of where I think the butterfly effect will work in their advantage. Yeah. We have another one from Jess D. Thank you. You guys are my faves. Thanks for all you do. Mealy's was awesome. Cheers.
Thank you so much, Jess.
Thank you.
Yeah,
And
May
yeah,
is probably right now, just because we still haven't seen Sunfire, which I'm a bit salty about. Melee's is probably the most beautiful dragon, I think.
I love her little spiky fin thingies on the side. I think she's so
Oh,
cute.
yeah, she's got a little crown.
I love her, the Red Queen. So we have another, I was say Snapchat, another super chat from Ijovu. I met Rhaenyra. Oh, this was alluding to the their super chat from earlier about the difference between who and who. I met Rhaenyra. Unlike Allison, does not barter her sexuality. She does it for herself. Her body count is irrelevant. We respect that.
Thank you.
That makes a lot more sense. Sorry, we didn't bring that up. Get to this a little sooner, but we have another one from Kev. Sorry, a super chat from Kev Z247. Thank you. He hung around too long. He's talking about Lord Caswell.
Trifling. Just trifling.
That was a good one. That's a good one. But yeah, no, he did. He did. Oh, poor Caswell. We have another super chat from. Oh wait, you guys. The character name. Nikolaus.
Niklaus.
Niklaus.
Michelson.
Michelson. Yes, I really would. Oh, my name is Valerian, like Valarian. It's written in Cyrillic. After this episode, I find it hard to defend the Greens. It's Team Rhaenyra all day. Thank you for clarifying that, and I'm so sorry I don't know how to read this properly.
I really wasn't trying to disrespect how your name might be pronounced. I was more making fun of my inability to read and pronounce the language that is in than anything.
Yeah.
But no, the Greens, I'm with you. I totally dislike them. However, I don't hate seeing them on my screen. Like, I'm compelled to watch when the Greens are on screen. I just completely and utterly disagree with their cause.
Yeah, I agree. And I definitely think, as they mentioned here, it's definitely hard to defend the Greens. I do think it was a smarter choice that they didn't wait as long as it says in the book. They waited like 7 days before they actually
Okay,
made
I'm glad
word
they
of
didn't do
Viserys.
that, because
Me too.
I remember in that scene, was it, episode 4, when Allison was called to Viserys's bedchambers and she's just seen absolutely dissociating. My thought was, yep, and you're completely going to deserve it when your wife leaves your body to rot for God knows how long. And then it just doesn't happen. And I have to say, like, I'm glad, because that would have been a bit gratuitous for me. And
I feel like them trying to get everything done within like 24 hours before news gets out for the coronation and stuff, I think is a very smart decision.
Yeah.
On the writer's behalf. We have a super chat from Marvin Ford. Thank you. It's weird that the Blacks don't have super spies in Westeros. Also, Rhaenyra should have objected Otto becoming the Hand a second time. Love GrayArea. She loves you too. I know she had to leave a little bit early, but yeah, I think it's. Do you think Massaria is keeping Daemon in the loop, or are they a little estranged? Do you think?
I think she is upset with him, and this is where I will say, spoilers, in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I think after her house sets on fire, and after she probably sees that Otto is not going to make good on his promise to look into the children that are being exploited in King's Landing, that's probably what will end up. Like, that's probably what'll make her end up defecting back to Daemon.
I agree. 100% agree. That definitely makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
because we do know later on that they do team back up.
but addressing the latter half of that super chat, I believe Rhaenyra had already left for Dragonstone at that point. Yeah. So she couldn't really object to a whole lot because she was away.
Yeah, she wasn't there. She wasn't home. Well, she was at her actual home, but you guys know what we mean. We have a super chat from Jamila Irma Gier. Thank you. Krister Cole is so despicable. Jeez. It's been what, almost 16, 17 years? So bitter. Love you, ladies. Yeah, he needs to get over it, dude. Like, I don't even know what to say. Dude, that Targaryen has him in a complete and utter chokehold, and it's kind of sad. We have a super chat from Shane52911. Thank you. I wonder how sick Allison is finna be when she finds out that Aegon is out here making bastards after all the stuff she did to Rhaenyra. Oh, the fact that she's been keeping the ones in the Red Keep kind of like, well, the ones that would have existed in the Red Keep under control, but he's just outside the house just running amok and spreading his seed everywhere.
She's had to have figured by now there have got to be plenty of his bastards running around. However, she can only do so much to address that.
Exactly. It's like you can only control but so much outside of the Red Keep. But yeah, she's gonna lose her shit if she doesn't already know. We have a super chat from Melissa is Loud. Thank you. Is Jace Kristen's son, so crowning Aegon means more? I've seen people talk about this, and the only reason why I don't think so is based off the timing of Jace's birth. Because Rhaenyra would have had been pregnant by the time they got married, like her and Laenor. And I feel like
I feel like that could have worked.
It could work. It's a tight timeline. It's a very tight timeline. But
I like the idea. I just don't know if I'm sold on it. But I would love if the oldest was Kristen Coles.
Yeah. I'm torn on it. I'm so torn on it. We have another super chat from Ichovu. Thank you again. Did you all notice the stadium sitting at the Dragon Pit? Any idea why? I'm assuming they just do this for like public events, just due to the fact that the Sept of Baelor does not exist yet, and it's not going to exist for a while because Baelor is not born yet. I believe they have another Sept. I forgot the name of it. It's not the Starry Sept because I think that's the one in Old Town, if I'm not mistaken. But I just think it's just for public events.
I also believe they're going with the stadium look to be a bit consistent with the location they chose for the Dragon Pit in Game of Thrones.
Ooh,
because that did, yeah.
It looked like a stadium. You're absolutely right. We also have a super chat from Leona Dawn. Thank you. Do you think that part of the reason why Viserys kept Rhaenyra as his heir is because he dreamt that the prince that was promised would be born in her lineage, not Aegon's? I like that angle.
That would bring a whole lot more depth to the intro with the bloodlines.
It definitely would. I thought of most of it has to do with his love for Aemma and his guilt for how and why she eventually dies. But I do like that idea that could be it. Kind of on some Maggie the Frog. I'm sorry, not Maggie the Frog. Ghost of Highheart. Where she pulls up with Jenny of Oldstone's, like, I'm not going to do the voice because that's your thing, but essentially.
I wonder if I'll still be able to do it.
Oh. Yeah. But essentially she ends up telling that, the prince that was promised would be born of the line of Eris and Rhaella. Which options?
So you better estrange them because you never know what you're going to get.
I love you.
I think that's the first time I've done it since the season started.
Yeah, we haven't really had too much Ghost of Highheart action. Let us know in the comments if you guys miss Ghost of Highheart. Okay. We have another super chat from Mina Ruth. Thank you. Do you think they will show Rhaenyra and Helena's sister relationship? I would love to see it.
I'm really hoping for flashbacks, and in the event that we would get flashbacks, yes, I would love to see that.
Me too. Also, spoiler alert: 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. When Rhaenyra eventually takes King's Landing, I think we'll see a bit of it there too.
Yeah,
but that's seasons to come. We have a super chat from Jay Kakar. Stop complaining about small folk. It's about who's your favorite war criminal. LOL. I definitely posted that meme earlier. And I agree. It's like, honestly, somebody has to care about the small folks, since the High Lords, when they play their games, they clearly don't. But also, I do think a lot of people were kind of being a little extra about, but about the small folk. I'm like, I really, really hope you guys keep the same energy when we go to the Riverlands in a couple seasons. Like, I really hope we keep the same sentiments. But we are actually all caught up with super chats. Do you want to quickly go through what we might see next week, Alisha, before we wrap up for the night?
Yeah. We're doing good on time. Look at us.
Yeah, look at us. We're doing so
I knew
good
we
today.
could.
So proud. So we're on Dragonstone. Rainey pulls up from what we saw in the trailer, and Rhaenyra is having a black council of her own. And we do get the line where the kids, specifically Jace, is like, send us. We got dragon ride. We ride dragons. We can help, Mom.
Yeah. So
It's
spoilers in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm not ready to lose Luke.
I'm not either. I'm really not. And I guess before we get to what's going to happen with Luke in a second, I think we should also draw where the kids are about to get sent off to. So spoilers.
Yeah.
Our boy Jace is off to Winterfell. So do you think we're going to see him land in Winterfell this season or next season?
I think we'll see him get there. Maybe. Because he has a longer flight.
Yeah.
We'll likely see him land. And I think maybe at the end of the episode he'll be greeted with news about his brother. Perhaps.
Ooh, know what I would love if we got a shot of him landing, kind of similar to the shot when Arya first returns home and you just see Winterfell off in the distance. Like a shot of that kind of, but with Chase and Vermax just kind of like overlooking Winterfell from a distance. Since I'm assuming we haven't had Cregan Stark yet. Oh, he does go to the Vale first too. Do you think they might, doesn't one of the twins go to the Vale as well at some point? Yeah, Rhaena goes to I wonder if they might just send Rhaena to the Vale and just send him straight to Winterfell just to cut time.
So they send Rhaena to the Vale, and then Bela refuses to leave Dragonstone because she wants to be near Jace when he does get back. But, Jace takes his sweet time in the north. Can't imagine why. I'm so sorry. So my neighbors, every evening, they sweep and mop really well under their table and they move the chairs around. And I'm grateful I have cleanly neighbors, but every evening at about this time, you're going to hear scrape. So that's what that is.
We've been warned. But yeah, Jace definitely is going to take a sweet, sweet time coming back from Winterfell. So I do think they might, I think they might just send Rhaena just to the Vale, send Jace to Winterfell. Luke's going to go to Storm's End. And do you think they might send Bela? Well, because Rainey's is here at this time. So I doubt they would send Bela to Driftmark. They'd probably just send Rainey's back to Driftmark because Corlys would be home by this point. But kids get sent on their missions. And we also get a shot of Daemon. So I've been seeing sources say this is Vermithor, King Jaehaerys' dragon.
I feel like that is Sheepstealer.
I would like it to be Sheepstealer.
Because what is he doing with? What's he doing with another dragon? What's he doing? Because Sheepstealer is described as ugly, and I'm sorry, but look at the teeth on that. That is a British dragon.
It doesn't have good dental care. I was gonna say maybe it's
well, at least
Cannibal. Sorry. Well, no, because he's singing to it, and it's like, are they gonna even try dragon seeds this early?
It makes me wonder what the hell is he doing with another dragon? It could be just, remember last week when he was just randomly spelunking for dragon eggs. Ooh. Maybe he's looking for more. He realized there was a dragon in the cave. So he's like, okay, let me just soothe you and get out of here.
I just had a thought as soon as you said that. So you know how he was like spelunking for dragon eggs? What if he's going around trying to collect dragon eggs just to have them in a secure location so that because now they're worth a lot, especially if they're in a civil war with other dragon riders. If they can collect as many dragon eggs and put them in a secure location that they know of and they can control, the less likely somebody else is able to go and steal one. Because figure they can't monitor all of Dragonstone, let alone all the caverns and caves. But
Yeah.
if somebody slips in, takes one, and is out, it's very possible that could happen. So I wonder maybe if that's why he's doing it. I'm very interested to see what's going on in here.
Okay, so we have seen Vhagar, that's possibly Vermithor or whatever. The dragon that's in the very beginning, the foreskin dragon.
Yes.
What dragon is that?
I think that's Cyrax.
I don't think it is.
So which one are you thinking?
The face shape is different.
Or Dreamfire, maybe?
Dreamfire looks like Drogon, Rhaegal,
yeah.
and yeah.
Sorry. Ooh. Yeah, my only guess would just be coloring wise, maybe Cyrax, but I am interested to know which dragon that is.
I think we'll find out eventually. There's one episode left, so.
Which is crazy. And honestly, I think this is the final scene of that episode. The storm's end of it all. I love how we did say before the season started, and as the season's been going, we've been saying that we're probably going to end season 1 at Storm's End. And I just want to say we did good. We did good with at least pacing of this season.
Does that bottom right remind you of Jurassic World?
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like they probably called the people in that VFX department and was like, hey, got any leftover models of the dinosaurs?
Can we also get your old audio of the tortoises having sex for reasons?
Yeah, we're just going to mix that down a little bit for our
But Vhagar is looking
scary.
Yeah.
The fact, I wish I pulled it up, but the shot of Arax and Vhagar, literally Vhagar could swallow that dragon whole. Like,
I'm not
huge.
ready.
Do you think that they are going to make it seem like it's an accident, or do you think it's going to be intentional?
I mean, he went after him on Dragonback. I mean, I don't think he was doing it to love tap the back of the dragon with Vhagar's boop, you know?
Yeah, I also think it's going to be very, very intentional. Like, I think it's an intentional choice because, especially after that last interaction they have together, where the pig gets brought out, and he's like,
yeah, he still thinks it's funny, and Aemon's like, you definitely took my eye. Plus, if you remember, there was a guy that auditioned for Aemon that sent his audition tape to MJ, and the lines in it are the same as in the book. Like, oh, did you piss yourself? You know, bastard. All that other stuff. So Aemon definitely has animosity toward him when he walks in the door.
oh, yeah. As soon as he sees him, he's like, oh, word. Just who I was hoping to see. Like, you could tell Aemon has been dying for this moment. Like, he's like, oh, it's about time. I'm ready. I'm so ready to do this. And it's going to be so sad. I'm going to be so heartbroken because I love Luke. I love Luke. We haven't had a lot of time with him, but the time we've got with him has been so precious.
He's been a good little fella.
Yeah, and I think it's because he's also Mandy's son's doppelganger. I think that's also why I feel a little bit more attached.
Yeah.
It's gonna be hard. And I can't believe next week's the last episode, and that's it. 10 episodes of season 1 is in the books after next week.
But that's not to say you won't hear from us after that.
No, not at all. We will be here, and don't worry. We'll have some announcements of our plans for after the season. Don't you guys worry.
Announcements that y'all have been asking about.
Yes, don't worry. They will be coming. But any final thoughts before we head out for the night? Alisha?
Just, I want everybody to stay healthy and stay happy.
That's a very good note. There's a lot of nasty bugs going around. We don't want you guys looking like Viserys.
direction sometimes. But you know, if everybody were happy,
Yeah. Also, you know, let's keep the discourse civil, guys. Let's be kind to one another, you know. As our lovely girl Shireen Baratheon said, it's the choosing that caused all the problems, the choosing sides. So, you know, let's be peaceful, even though it's Team Black, but let's be peaceful with one another and respect each other's opinions and, you know, be kind. But we are heading out, and as Carrie said, and stay sexy. Yes. So yeah, we are gonna head out for the night. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. And we will see you guys next week for the finale.
sexy.
And yeah, Lily said, stay sexy. So I guess